Hey folks, we are here at the Audioholics Smart House, boots on the ground. We got Doug Piebiak from SurgePure. That's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Hey folks, I'm Gene Delasala with Audioholics. How are you doing, my friend Doug?
Good, good. Glad to be here.
Awesome to have you. So Doug came all the way from Canada. He contacted me on our channel about doing some surge suppression, filtration at the electrical panel. I want to talk to you guys about why this is important. I want to talk to you about his company, SurgePure, what his products do, the range of the products, and why we're doing this today. So Doug, why don't you give us a little rundown of SurgePure, about the company, the philosophy, the products. Give us your spiel.
Well, I mean, I'm based in Canada. Our product is manufactured down in the US, and we distribute through the electrical wholesalers here, local wholesalers in each town. But with the surge protection, our units clean the power, remove voltage spikes, extend, double and triple your equipment life, and that's just cleaning up the dirty power. A lot of the dirty power can be made internally as well with your AC units turning on and off. So a lot of motors. Your digital equipment doesn't like to see your motor start and stop
because of the inrush transients that they cause.
Yeah, the voltage spikes that they create. Yeah, especially on single phase motors, can give you large inrush current. So yeah, I mean, primarily our company focuses on water treatment plants and schools and large institutions. But yeah, some homeowners will want to address their power quality and get things looked after in their home as well.
So why would you want to do this at the panel as opposed to maybe putting power conditioners at the rack where your equipment is? What's the advantage of doing it here?
Well, power conditioners don't offer catastrophic event protection for one. So this is going to be your front line of defense, and catching the surges before they enter your home is the best place to catch them. It's a little late to try to catch them at the receptacle with like a power bar surge device per se. But yeah, doing your panel here, again, mixing dirty power loads such as motors with your digital loads, basically your surge protection device is working 24/7, isolating all internally generated surges, right? But you still have your external surges, like, could be blackout. Your systems don't like to see when you get blacked out or when you come back online from a blackout. And yeah, like that's...
So tell me how, like in this case, we have the Mach 3s. Tell me how they're connected to the panels, because it looks like they're maybe connected in parallel with the panel. They're not going through, they're not coming in from the street and then going through that and then the panel. They're actually in parallel. Why is that?
Yeah, well, you see, you have two panels here that are side by side, and each one has a separate feed. It would almost be better if there was one feed here and the panels were tubbed together. Then we could just get away with one surge protection device here. But because there's two panels and they each have separate feeds, and you have audio equipment on each panel as well as motor loads on each panel, the best way to approach it would be we had to put a surge device on each panel here at this location. And so when we install them, we want to install them as close as we can and make the wires as short as possible so that the surge device responds faster. So our units come with wires on them, but we want to cut those as short as possible. You're going to need a certified electrician to install them. And that's why we sell them through the electrical wholesalers, the wholesale shops that sell to the electricians. But you can, there's many different wholesalers out there, City Electric, Gray Bar. There's many wholesalers out there that you can choose from that we sell to. But yeah, making them with short wires is the best way. And these ones here look like they're upside down, but when they come through the factory, it's the way we have our fittings come out of them, that we had to mount them upside down just so we achieve the shortest wire length on the install.
Yeah, and it looks cleaner too, because I didn't want to have it wrap around. So the way this is working now is anytime there's a transient, it's actually going to go through these protect all of the circuits that are in my house. Now, are these self-sacrificing, or like, am I going to get one lightning hit and they're gone, or how does that work exactly?
Well, we promote our product as non-degrading, so they can take multiple hits and not have degradation. Basically, for something to be large enough to take our unit out, it's going to have to be a direct lightning strike, or they blew a transformer up in your street to be able to have enough energy to take out one of our surge devices. Our warranty is against manufacturer's defects, and it's a lifetime warranty, but yeah, I mean, if you're hit with lightning and it takes our unit out, our customers, in events like these where our units get taken out, our units trip the main breaker, taking the customer offline. And so our customers don't experience a downstream equipment loss even after a large event, which surprises a lot of our customers. You know, being water treatment plants and again, larger facilities, they're quite surprised that they only have to pay for the surge device rather than pay for any other equipment that's on their in their operations.
So one of the internal components of the Mach 3 is that you have a fairly large MOV that helps protect you from these transients and these lightning strikes. I mean, how big are they compared to us? Because I look at the ones that are inside power conditioners, they're maybe like the size of a dime, right? These look like they were the size of a $50. I mean, they were pretty substantial.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the industry. The industry uses small 20 millimeter metal oxide varistors, and the industry's product design is they incorporate a multi-element design, and due to those designs, they get unequal stressing, and a lot of those just end up like wearing out. I mean, there's a lot of things that go on inside of our surge device that make it what it is. Having proper heat dissipation inside of our product gives us the longevity that we're not going to get pitting on our metal oxide varistors. But the unit that is here, we use 40 millimeter metal oxide varistors. Our larger units that we would put in large facilities, we use 53 millimeter metal oxide varistors for those ones. So yeah, we never get our units back unless, you know, someone drives into the power pole, basically. So
I don't have any power poles around here, so I think we're okay. So the reason why I wanted something like this installed in the house is since I moved here in the Audioholics Smart House, I've been having, I don't know if there's voodoo going on in this house, but I've been blowing subwoofer plate amps like I'm going through them like they're water, right? So I'm hoping to do a case study here for the next year or two to see how many plate amplifiers and subwoofers I blow out. Also, my LED lights, my can lights keep blowing out. They flicker when my power supply turns on my computer. So it'll be interesting to kind of track that to see how that improves. Now, you have 6 different stages of this product. I want to focus mostly on stage 1 through 3. I'm using a Mach 3 right here. What's the difference between the Mach 1, 2, and 3?
yeah, I mean, we make all of our models in single phase, and that's what the homeowner would be using. Our smallest model is a Mach 1, and that unit has a 10-year warranty, and it might be more cost effective for a homeowner. The Mach 2 series is where our lifetime warranty starts, and our Mach 2 actually could do primary services of like a golf course or gas station. And then, so the Mach 3 is the next step up, but the thing is, our Mach 3 is basically the same surge capacity of a Mach 2. So the Mach 2, Mach 3 are the same surge capacity. It's just we've taken our active sine wave tracking filtering and added that into the Mach 3. So the Mach 3 does have high frequency filtering, which will remove low level spikes within the sine wave as well. So that's going to give the cleanest sine wave on your voltage that... and generally we use this, the Mach 3 in like dentist offices, computer rooms, and facility like operations.
Data centers and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
So guys, this is no snake oil stuff here. This is real engineering stuff. You've got some safety markings on these devices. Can you go a little bit about the regulatory process that goes through these products?
Yeah, I mean, well, surge protection's come a long way with the certifications. So, I mean, and, you know, that's what the engineers really care about. But yeah, there was one major change that came in around 2007, and that cleaned up the marketplace. So because when you're offering high amounts of surge capacity, it's not easy to contain that. You know, if it has to get taken out, you need to remain safe in the industry and not have your surge device essentially acting like a bomb in the industry.
It has to keep everything self-contained in the unit, right?
Yeah, so there's been a few standard changes which cleaned up the marketplace, and I guess got some people out of the market that maybe shouldn't have been there in the first place. But Yeah, I mean, all of our models have a short circuit current rating at 200,000 amps, and that value is nothing to do with surge capacity, but just safety alone. It means we can put any of our models basically on a 4,000 amp service entrance, which is the biggest electrical service you can that is available out there. So, but that's just the safety number basically. But yeah, this unit you have here offers 145,000 amps of surge capacity. Or sorry, this is single phase. 100,000 amps per phase.
Okay.
On
and what safety and regulatory markings are on here?
It'll be ETL. So that's that stands for Electrical Testing Laboratories, and that was founded by Thomas Edison. So they are actually global. ETL.
Also, it's international. Although it's basically this product's good for domestic and international because of that.
Well, our markings are for Canada and the U.S.
Okay.
Yeah.
So North America, basically.
Yeah, but you know, Intertech is owned by ETL is owned by Intertech. So yeah, they're global.
So one thing I noticed, guys, when I look at a lot of these high-end power conditioners and surge protectors, if you look at the manual on some of these, on the first or second page, it says unplug during a lightning condition, right? So that's the first thing they tell you. Most of them have no UL, ETL, or TUV, none of that, no safety or regulatory. And that's why I always kind of warn people, if you're going to put these kind of products into your home theaters, make sure they have some safety and regulatory markings so you know that there's at least some standard that they're being tested to. And that's why I like this product, because it looks like it's made for industrial kind of applications, which it is. I mean, you're talking about setting these up for water treatment plants, for network centers, for golf courses. So to put something like this into a residential home, you know that it's going to be way over engineered for my application. And I'm really looking forward to see how it cleans up my power and it keeps my product safe over the next couple of years. I'm going to be revisiting. In fact, I'm going to have you on to do some live stream events on our YouTube channel. We're going to be doing more of this kind of talk, more tech talk. You've got some pretty good credentials yourself. You have a technical background on this stuff. You've been doing this for quite a long time. You're a master electrician too, right?
Yeah. I've worked as an electrician for 8 years, and I've been with SurgePure for 18. It's just one thing with the marketplace. I think through human nature, a lot of people don't want to be proactive, and a lot of our customers come to us after they've had events happen to them where everything got fried in their home, and now they want to address it. So it's, this is a key component. I mean, if Gene ever moves, I told him to take the unit with him to wherever he goes. So
guys, if you're thinking about if you're serious about your audio equipment, protecting your audio equipment, cleaning up the lines a little bit, this is a much better investment than some fancy snake oil cable that you slap a battery on, and it doesn't cost much more than that. And obviously you have to get an electrician to install it. But this is money well spent if you're trying to protect your equipment and you're trying to clean things up. It's definitely something to consider. Doug, I appreciate you coming here, dropping the knowledge on us, helping me get this into the panels. It looks great. I can't wait to start, testing this thing out, especially in Florida, the lightning capital of the world. Hopefully you save a couple of subwoofer amps in the process. Guys, if you like this video, please hit the thumb up, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget about our Patreon channel at patreon.com/Audioholics. We appreciate your support. You get direct access to me if you want to suggest video topics or ask questions. And until next time, my friends, keep listening. Video, right?
Yeah, on camera.
Well, you're the CEO, so you can't get canceled from your own company. All right, so we can see right here and right there. Wait. Oh. Save that. I'm just telling you what we're gonna do.
Okay.
This is all going in the outtakes. You know that, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Shake out, jazz hands. Okay. All right, you ready?
Okay, one question at a time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. All right, ready?
Yeah.
We got Doug Piebiak from SurgePure. We'll start over.